Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Alfia Agus Adelina and I'm here to fulfill my midterm test assignment, which is I have to present my mind mapping about language disorder in psycholinguistics. So here it is. Enjoy.
So, what is language disorder? Actually, people with language disorder have difficulty in expressing themselves and understanding what others are saying, but this is unrelated with hearing problems. Language disorder, formerly known as receptive expressive language disorder, is common in young children. It occurs in 10 or to 15% of those under the age of 3 years old. According to the University of Mississippi Medical Center, by age 4, language ability is generally more stable and can be measured more accurately to determine whether or not a deficit exists. There are symptoms related to expressions which are reduced vocabulary in comparison to other children at the same age, limited ability to form sentences, impaired ability to use words and connect sentences, to explain or describe something, reduced ability to have conversation, leaving words out, saying words in a wrong order, repeating a question while thinking of an answer, confusing tenses, and for example, using past tense instead of present. Oftentimes, the cause of this language disorder is still unknown, but genetics and nutrition might play a role in it. But these explanations haven't yet been proven. There is a delay in language development. It may be related to hearing problems, brain injury, damage to the central nervous system, or we also known as CNS. And sometimes the delayed language may accompany other developmental problems such as hearing loss, autism, or learning disability. Language disorder isn't necessarily related to a lack of intelligence. Experts try to identify the cause when language development doesn't happen naturally. So we are going to the types of language disorder. The first one here, we have sensory impairment. What is it? Actually, sensory impairment is an umbrella term used to describe loss of the distant sense, for example, sight and hearing. People with a sensory impairment will have experienced life with their individual impairment in a completely different way to others with the same type of sensory impairment. No two people will be exactly the same, and services shouldn't be delivered as if any they were. There are 4 types of sensory impairment. The first one is hearing impairment. The second one is visual impairment. The third one is deafblind or dual sensory impairment. And the last one is deaf British sign language, or we also know as BSL user. So that's it. Let's jump to the second type of language disorder. Second one, here we have dyslexia. What is it? Dyslexia is a learning disorder that affects your ability to read, spell, write, and speak. Kids who have it are often smart and hardworking, but they have trouble connecting the letters they see to the sounds those letters make. Kids with dyslexia often have normal vision and are just as smart as their peers, but they struggle more in school because it takes them longer to read. Actually, trouble processing words can also make it hard to spell, write, and speak clearly. What causes dyslexia? It is actually linked to genes, which is why the condition often runs in families. You are more likely to have dyslexia if your parents, siblings, or other family members have it. So you have to aware with the symptoms immediately. Let's jump to the third one. So next we have Down syndrome. What is Down syndrome? In every cell in the human body, there is a nucleus where genetic material is stored in genes. Genes carry the codes responsible for all of our inherited traits and are grouped along rod-like structures called chromosomes. Typically, the nucleus of each cell contains 23 pairs of chromosomes, but the half of which are inherited from its parent. But for Down syndrome occurs when an individual has a full or partial extra copy of chromosome 21. What causes Down syndrome? It is basically the genetic cause for Down syndrome. All people with Down syndrome actually have an extra critical portion of chromosome 21 present in all or some of their cells. This additional genetic material alters the course of development and causes the characteristics associated with Down syndromes. The cause of extra, full, or partial chromosome is still unknown. Maternal age is the only factor that has been linked to an increased chance of having a baby with Down syndrome, resulting from the non-disjunction of mosaicism. And however, due to higher birth rates in younger women, 80% of children with Down syndrome are born to women under 35 years of age. Next, we have stuttering. What is it? Stuttering, also called stammering or childhood onset fluency disorder, is a speech disorder that involves frequent and significant problems with normal fluency and flow of speech. People who stutter know what they want to say, but have difficulty in saying it. For example, they may repeat or prolong a word, a syllable, or a consonant or vowel sound, or they may have pause during speech because they reached a problematic word or sound. Stuttering is common among young children as a normal part of learning to speak. Young children may stutter when their speech and language abilities aren't developed enough to keep up with what they want to say. Most children outgrow this developmental stuttering. Sometimes, however, stuttering is a chronic condition that persists into adulthood. This type of stuttering can have some impact on self-esteem and interaction with other people actually. Children and adults who stutter may benefit from treatments such as speech therapy, using electronic devices to improve speech fluency, or cognitive behavioral therapy. So we're going to the next type of language disorder. Next, we have dysgraphia. What is it? This is a specific language disorder that focuses on difficulties producing written language. And dysgraphia is characterized by the person having difficulty converting the sound of a language into written form, phonemes into graphemes, we can say, or knowing which alternate spelling to use for its sound. A person with dysgraphia may write their letters in reverse, have trouble recalling how letters are formed, or when to use lower or uppercase letters. A person with dysgraphia may also struggle to form written sentences with correct grammar and punctuation, with common problems including omitting words, words ordered incorrectly, incorrect verb and pronoun usage, and word ending errors. People with dysgraphia may speak more easily and fluently than they write. That's the fact. So we are going to the next type of language disorder. So next we have apraxia. What is it? Apraxia is a poorly understood neurological condition. People who have it find it difficult or impossible to make certain motor movements, even though their muscles are normal. Milder forms of apraxia are known as dyspraxia. With apraxia of speech, a person finds it difficult or impossible to move his or her mouth and tongue to speak. This happens even though the person has the desire to speak at the mouth and tongue. Muscles are physically able to form words. So we're going to the next types of language disorder. So next we have ADHD. What is it? ADHD is actually attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder. This is one of the most common mental disorder or language disorder that affecting children. ADHD also affects many adults. Symptoms of ADHD include inattention. It means not being able to keep focus, and hyperactivity. It means excess movement that is not fitting to the setting. And the last one is impulsivity. It means hasty acts to occur in the moment without thought. Many ADHD symptoms, such as high activity levels, difficulty remaining still for long periods of time, and limited attention spans, are common to young children in general. The difference in children with ADHD is that their hyperactivity and inattention are noticeably greater than expected for their age, and cause distress and/or problems functioning at home, at school, or with friends. ADHD is diagnosed as one of three types. The first one is an inattentive type. The second one is hyperactive or impulsive type, or combined type. A diagnosis is based on the symptoms that have occurred over the past 6 months. So we're going to the next type of language disorder. So here it is, the last one. We have autism. What is it? Autism, also called Autism Spectrum Disorder or ASD, is a complicated condition that includes problems with communication and behavior. It can involve a wide range of symptoms and skills. ASD can be a minor problem or a disability that needs full-time care in a special facility. People with autism have trouble with communication. They have trouble understanding what other people think and feel. This makes it hard for them to express themselves, either with words or through gestures, facial expression, and touch. People with autism might have problems with learning. Their skills might develop unevenly. For example, they could have trouble communicating but be unusually good at art, music, math, or memory.
So guys, that's all I can present to you about mind mapping and language disorder in psycholinguistics. Hope you guys understood about it, and I'm sorry, I really am sorry for every mistakes that I made. And thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.